Now, year after year, the announcements of hiring teachers are made, and this has become a song to the ear, like a song on repeat. The deficiency of teachers in the sector can be compared to a pandemic, and if their high-pitched singing is not removed from the playlist, or better still, from repeat, a crash in the education sector is inevitable. Welcome to this week's episode of The Digest. My name is Francesca. Now, each year, schools of education offload more than 3,500 qualified teachers, and the Teaching Council of Zambia registered approximately 1,500 yearly. Pupils are enrolled each year into education system with very little, if no teachers to educate them. And over the years, the teacher-to-pupil ratio continues to widen. On the Digest this week, there is a new hope for the teachers birthed from the New Dawn government, who have found the money to employ 30,000 teachers in 2022.
Most of our schools, especially those in rural areas, do not have enough teachers. It is not uncommon, Madam Speaker, to find that in one school, say from grade 7 to grade 9, from grade 1 to grade 7, 2 teachers. From grade 1 to grade 9, 2 teachers. That's what we find all across the country. Madam Speaker, despite this limited number of teachers in some schools, there are at least 55,000 young trained teachers who have not been employed. Some have been waiting for 6 years or more post-training to be hired. Madam Speaker, the New Dawn administration has found the money to recruit the teachers. Madam Speaker, for the first time, Madam Speaker, the New Dawn administration has found the money to recruit the teachers. Madam Speaker, for the first time in the history of this country, we will recruit 30,000 teachers.
Government pronouncing of recruiting 30,000 teachers is a great move, of course, which is going to help the learners and the teachers, because the number of teachers, the ratio to the number of teachers, it is not that matching. You would find that teachers are few and learners are high. So you find that the learners are missing out a lot on that one. But as the government pronounced the recruitment of 30,000 teachers, at least it will fill up the gaps where schools need some teachers. At least learners will benefit a lot, and teachers again, they will benefit a lot, because some teachers, maybe they are overworked. They work a lot, whereby one teacher is handling a lot of classes. But this pronouncement, it is a great impact. It is a great pronouncement of which has made everyone happy, including myself.
Concerning the deployment of teachers, as put in the budget, 30,000, that's very, very interesting enough. Looking at the numbers of teachers are very, very few, and the teacher-pupil ratio, it's very, very poor. So when you have a good numbers of teachers, that will really help to suffice the need which has always been there. Otherwise, it's a very welcome step, and I'm looking forward to among those that will be recruited, along with my other colleagues, especially those that are still using their knowledge to teach me on voluntary or even on personal basis. Yeah, it's a very, very welcome move indeed.
First and foremost, the government making a pronouncement to say that they are going to employ 30,000 teachers is probably a statement that many people would want to think that it's unattainable, and other people are thinking that, look, this is an outrageous number. But look, what we need to realize that the new Dawn government is beginning to realign the economy in such a way that they want to focus on developing the economy. They want to focus on developing productivity. So now in productivity, what normally happens is that there's human capital that is involved. So if you want to look at 30,000 teachers, it simply means they are refocusing to say that they want to make sure that they equip the human capital in order to enhance productivity, which in turn is going to enhance the growth of the economy. If we do not have sufficient teachers in the rural setup, if we do not have sufficient teachers even in the urban setup, it simply means we are going to have a deficit in terms of human capital for the people that are going to develop in future to become accountants, to become lawyers, to become economists, to become production managers, and so on and so forth.
The Professional Teachers Union of Zambia, PROTUZ, looks at the welfare of teachers in the country and advocates for the development of more teachers to the Ministry of Education in the bid to solve the deficiency on the teacher-pupil ratio, which has been of concern for a long time. PROTUZ General Secretary Kangwa Msenga is hopeful that in the near future teachers will be employed even before they graduate.
In the first place, I thought the minister there was a slip of the tongue, but later it was reality that 30,000 teachers will be deployed, and this quickly got me back to the memory lane in the early years, where upon graduating a teacher is sent before the results are even obtained. The teachers are sent to go and teach. It is a similar situation where out of over 45,000 teachers, only 30,000 have been employed and 15,000 will be on the street, which means we are looking forward for the employer now even to employ the remaining ones. But this also have given pressure to the private schools. It means the colleagues in the private schools, they now need to compete in terms of emoluments and condition of service with the public sector, which is the government. But the employment of 30 teachers has come as a miracle. And as one of the advocates for this, we are extremely delighted. And I wish this should be done as soon as possible. According to our statistics, we have not less than 3,000. Not less than 3,000 teachers are offloaded to the market, and the reason why we have huge numbers to date, those who are not employed, the employment by the employer was actually very minimal. We can give just what happened last year. Is it this year? 1,200 teachers were employed. But besides that, we have other teachers who were employed and they are not on the payroll. So when we add the two numbers, of course it can come to 3,000 or 4,000, but that was not enough. That was just fit for one district. Kafue district alone could have absorbed that. So even the initiative by the former government that recruitment of teachers, the training of teachers should stop, was evil, because we needed more teachers. We need more teachers in this course. We need more teachers because teachers are retiring. Mind you, the return factor, and there are other factors which make teachers also leave the ministry. So we needed more teachers, and we need more teachers. If possible, we wish the government could have employed the 45,000 teachers on the street, 2020, so that we see what happens in the coming few years.
The Unemployed Teachers Association of Zambia General Secretary James Musema commends government over the proposed 30,000 teacher recruitment to happen next year, as this will reduce the backlog of trained unemployed teachers, which currently stands at 55,000.
Well, in the first place, it's a milestone. I think in the history of Zambia, it has never happened before that a government can recruit 30,000 teachers. And one of our objectives has been to fight for unemployed teachers so that they can find employment and also, just find how to help themselves out there. Yeah. However, saying that if the government recruits everyone and our association might die, that's not possible, because our association does not only, our objectives are not only to fight for employment. As youths, we are not only looking at the plight of being employed in government or whatsoever. In fact, we have always made it clear that our association's name is Unemployed Teachers Association of Zambia, but we are not, our membership is not limited to the unemployed teachers. So our membership or our association cannot die if the government recruits the 30,000 teachers. This pronouncement is one of its kind. It's different because in the past we've seen situations where an announcement will be made. For example, the recent recruitment that was conducted, out of an approximation of 55,000 teachers, only 1,200 was recruited. I think that wasn't so encouraging. It had also to do with issues to do with, to challenge the mental status of the unemployed teachers. Because imagine 55,000 against 1,200. That was a marathon. So I would say this is one of its kind, because this time around now we have a bigger number than before. And also on the other hand, I think this time around we are highly expectant. The number is big, and also we expect it not to be a corrupt process.
Newman Wubala, the General Secretary for Zambian National Union of Teachers, explains that recruitment of 30,000 teachers is aimed at improving the quality of education by reducing the pupil-teacher ratio.
Remember, we always say for any quality education to come through, the teacher-pupil ratio should be improved. And to improve the teacher-pupil ratio, we have to have a lot of teachers. We have a situation where in certain places it's a big challenge, because you may find a teacher teaching 70, 80 pupils. So this recruitment increases the quality of education, improves actually the quality of education, and also it brings about employment for the teachers who have been waiting for a long time. They've been trained, they've been in the streets, and you would realize that 50,000 of them. Now to recruit those out of those 30,000, it's a big improvement. The target, which we know according to our own research with our directorate here, is that we need about 200,000 teachers if we are going to improve the teacher-pupil ratio. So far we have 100,000 plus, which means that this 30,000 it's a big step towards achieving the required teacher-pupil ratio. We also like to say in the same line that it's not only about improving the teacher-pupil ratio. It's also a situation where we are now going to have a situation where a teacher now will have a relief in terms of the number of maybe periods they may be teaching, because sometimes you have a situation where, because of not so many teachers, you have one teacher is overloaded with too many periods, because they are just not teachers in a particular area. We had a situation where when you go into the area, you may find it's a big challenge to attend to all classes, because they might have not enough teachers. But with this, we will look forward to not only teacher-pupil ratio, we also to look where teachers now going to teach the required number of periods.
And as concerning to the criteria which will be used for recruiting, I would also recommend if there can be total transparency. Yeah, looking at who is qualified to teach. And at the same time also should be the opportunity for the government to reinforce, especially courses that can be very productive to the country. Yeah, because like we have cases whereby maybe it's in a rural area where maybe there are no teachers, pupils they have only maybe just one teacher, and then maybe they have got issues like maybe let's say it's in a village where they are learning about ICT, there are no computers. So it should be the same opportunity that after recruiting the teachers, they should also be able to facilitate what is needed for good and effective learning to take place.
Of course, we have the criteria in the first place. The scrutiny of documents, the application to districts, not what used to happen. The application is from the Teaching Service Commission, then it goes down. It must be from the same communities, from the same districts to the District Education Board Secretary, District Board Secretary to the PEO, PEO to the National to Teaching Service Commission for conveyance. Hence, a teacher is deployed. That system was distorted the past 6 years. And the most dangerous thing is you talk about it, you have problems. We had problems, colleagues. We presented our issues to Parliament and we advocated for more teachers to the Education Committee at Parliament. And we also brought a concern on how the system was now deploying teachers, which was highly questionable. The district level, it was not there. The provincial level is not there. It was at national level. So we questioned why. Hence, there were so many our teachers and crooks and other people in the ministry, the Teaching Service Commission, were implicated in this. The danger now is the same people implicated will be the same people to deploy the 30,000.
I think the best is the one that was brought already, which is decentralized. But though I feel that the decentralization to some extent was not respected, there was a situation where the names were selected from districts and they were sent to the provincial headquarters, where they were further sent now to the national headquarters, which is Lusaka. Yeah. Now, the most surprisingly is you find that this process was too long. Imagine a process taking 3 to 4 months. People were just waiting for 1,200 names. This length in waiting for the procedures or making procedures too long actually makes even the people involved, the unemployed teachers, to even doubt the leadership, to doubt the process and term it as corrupt. Why? Because we don't expect it to take that longer. This also goes to the advert. There is no way people, this time around we expect the government, according to the Minister of Finance, he said the money is actually readily available for recruitment of the 30,000 teachers. Unemployment, especially amongst the teachers, has been a very serious issue. And because of that, people have been involving themselves, some in corrupt means, they got those letters, others maybe genuinely they got them, but maybe the person who was trying to push for them didn't take it seriously and had not finished the procedure and so on. So in that case, I think for me, I would even prefer that priority, these people should be set to be the first people that should be put on the list of the 30,000, so that we are also looking at I'm always conscious about mental health issues. Someone has been keeping a letter for about a year now and they have not been confirmed on the payroll and so on. So I think that should be the first priority. The people that have these letters should be confirmed.
The systems and the institutions which have been put in place should have enough information so that this information will give as to how many could be recruited in each district and in which region. I think that is not be a situation where people just say we just have to recruit. It's by demand. How many teachers do we need and in which area? We know that in Zambia, one of the fields which is lacking a lot of teachers is science and mathematics. So we would like to have a system where the children are not robbed of certain periods or certain subjects because they are not teachers. Meanwhile, these teachers are in the streets.
The pronouncement was made. The national budget has an allocation set for the 30,000 teachers expected to be recruited by the Teaching Service Commission. The question, however, is how transparent will the recruitment exercise be conducted?
So the new Dawn government is re-emphasizing on the rule of law. They are re-emphasizing on transparency. So what remains for us is for us to give them a benefit. Okay, so if they have told us that they are going to put in a mechanism that is going to enhance the transparency in terms of recruitment, in the past we may have heard that there has been corruption that marred the recruitment of teachers. If only the new Dawn government can be able to be efficient in that and be effective in the manner that they are going to execute their policies. And in order for them to have the best teachers, in order for them to make sure that there is no corruption, then fair enough. But what remains for us now is for us to give them a benefit. This is a pronouncement that they have made. What we are yet to see is whether their pronouncements are going to match what they are going to put in place.
The more reason why the district board secretary should be at a center stage is very, very important. Mind you, when the Ministry of General Education under the permanent secretary were doing recruitments, we never had these problems of extortion of money. We didn't have them. All these years, we only started having these problems 3 years ago, which were created by the Teaching Service Commission. Even if the Teaching Service Commission maybe could have meant well, but in the manner this was done, where recruitments were done at a dark corner arrangement, this brought issues to the point that the SEC has failed to give us reasons why they stopped investigating the Teaching Service Commission for the archaic recruitment. So the most transparent way, which we have appealed even to the minister, is certainly the previous minister we told him, the new minister we are telling him, can the deployment go to the Ministry of General Education for sanity's sake? Because that was the best way on how things were done, and we didn't have a problem in that.
Corruption, I think, has been a very serious disease, especially in our ministry. Yeah, like I said in the first place, we just hope the new Dawn government comes in and, addresses this issue. Previously, you find that we've been addressing these issues of corruption to the relevant authorities, but they have always been asking us questions to say, where is evidence? But surprisingly, you'll find that these same people come back and tell us to say, no, you have to be very careful. There are people out there who are swindling and lying to people to say. I think swindling and corruption are not too different. They are almost the same, especially if it is happening in these institutions of government, like the one we are referring to, the Ministry of Education and the Teaching Service Commission.
Sadly, very few of the 30,000 teachers will want to be deployed to the rural parts of the country, merely because of lack of infrastructure development and social amenities. This challenge too can, however, be extinct with the new Dawn strategy of funding the constituencies with community development funds to initiate their own developmental agenda.
For the 30,000 teachers to the Ministry of Education is a plus, but it must come with certain ingredients to do with accommodation in the rural areas. That's the reason why teachers are running away from the rural areas, coming to town. Now, when they come to town, they are creating more problems because the permanent vacancies are there in the rural areas where their services are needed. And we urge the 30,000 teachers that they should go and serve where the services are needed. At the moment, there are more teachers needed in the rural areas. But for the employer, let's look at the issue of accommodation as priority one. Let's also look at even the road sector. It's very, very important. We have been to extremely very rural areas where it's difficult for our teachers, members, to get to their station. When they come to get their salaries, they have to spend 2 weeks. So the road network plays a major role.
Now, when it comes to rural and urban, yes, rural and urban has got different kind of challenges. You know that in the rural areas, the issues of road network, the issues of rural electrification, the issues of getting to where the social amenities are easily. Can you even think of a school which might be 250 kilometers away from Deb's office, away from better shops, away from getting medical facilities? You have a challenge in that line. So it's a situation where what is it that we should make sure that teachers go to the rural areas. So in this line, when these 30,000 are recruited, I assure you much of the challenge will be in the rural areas.
The education policy must be reformed. We need to get into the reformation of the education policy. See, we are just coming from the serious COVID issues, which has changed the face of the Ministry of Education. The curriculum itself, even the learning calendar has been affected. We are going to the fourth wave. What are the plans? What are we doing in order to manage the COVID-19? So as a union, definitely, we have been looking at all these issues to be one of the serious factors which the minister has to work on. That is the curriculum and the calendar itself. The standard section is one of the things which we need to deal with in all the districts in order to ensure that the learning programs are not disrupted in any way. So really, we are looking at a serious addressing of a number of issues in the budget, especially to the Ministry of Education. And one of the noted ones is the PTA funds, the deployment of teachers. We'll be advocating for the funding of the education establishment structures and so on, so that I think we start moving like it was in the 1960, 65, 66, 67. Things started becoming more ways somewhere 2010, 2011, when things that were not just moving in the way we wanted as the Minister of Education. We urge our teachers to get vaccinated. We urge all teachers to get vaccinated as a way of dealing with the COVID-19, because as long as we're not vaccinated as teachers, we won't be talking about managing the COVID-19 as a whole. I'm vaccinated, and I wish everyone will be vaccinated in a few months to come.
So we hope in the near future, our cry was that every year, if we can recruit 5,000, but this new Dawn government has done more than what we expected. Instead of 5,000 every year, they've come 30,000. Now, if every year we are going to have maybe 5,000, after this 30,000, every year you are recruiting 5,000, they are coming, you will reach a level where they graduate, they go straight into college. Come from college, they go straight into school. When it reaches that level, then we are now going to have a uniform kind of understanding, where you graduate from university or from high school, from college, you go straight to teaching, the way it used to be. Then we are now saying colleges are supporting the education input in terms of teacher training. It's with deep and heavy heart and sorrow that we lost a lot of teachers. We lost grant men through COVID who were committed, even here at Zanut. We lost men who were committed to education. And now this recruitment has come in also in a way to help. We would like to say, with these social distance issues, with these issues of space, now it's easier when you have a lot of teachers, because that will give you, as we say, teacher-pupil ratio, to meaning that you can manage within the space given, where we'll be able to say, because of enough teachers, even the shift program which is made will be made a success because we have enough teachers. As I've put it, and as I've already said, 30,000 is a big number, but we still need more as we are ongoing. But with COVID challenges, with the recruitment of teachers, I'm sure we'll now manage it more because we have more teachers. I think more sessions now will be created so that each session can have a good number of teachers than it was. And we are overstretched because of the same. But it doesn't also mean only the issues of number of teachers, it also talks about infrastructure. So the infrastructure comes in here that even if we've got so many teachers, you also need to expand the classrooms. We need more classrooms so that these teachers who come and the pupils who are enrolled can have enough space to suit into what the issues of COVID. And we hope and pray that we are now not going to be caught napping as the Ministry of Education. We should begin to prepare. As the recruitment comes, we should also begin to prepare enough space to make sure that we have all the 5 golden rules being followed so that we don't have any losses in terms of children, in terms of teachers, even in the community when this 4th wave comes. I hope the myth which surrounded vaccination is being cleared. I, for one, am vaccinated, and I've got all the hope that there's nothing like this myth of saying maybe after 2 years, those who are vaccinated will start dying. There's nothing like that. We just want to encourage people that get vaccinated and get protected. Understand that this vaccination are meant to protect them and their families. And we are also there to make sure that our communities are protected. So if the president, the ministers, the other leaders, community leaders have been vaccinated, those who are still questioning, please want to assure you that this myth of saying maybe you'll die, maybe there are these other side effects, and I'm sure we are able to have a solution that the process is there to help members be protected from the COVID, which is maybe the 4th wave which is coming.
In the first place, the teachers, the unemployed teachers, they must ensure that they are registered with the Teaching Council of Zambia, the regulator of the teachers. That's very important. But we also urge the Teaching Council of Zambia to be mild when they're dealing with this, because some of the teachers are coming from poor families and they could not afford to raise money to pay. This is a thing which pained the union, where teachers on the street are being extorted 15,000, 10,000 when they were coming and sponsored by the community in the rural areas. So for the Teaching Council of Zambia, please, may you be mild when we're dealing with the teachers who are going to apply to become teachers. Teachers should ensure that their documents, teaching certificates or practice certificates, grade 12 and professional qualifications, national registration cards, they don't have any problem. Put them together, colleagues, and wait for the advert. Wherever you are, we urge you to apply, especially in the rural areas. Don't come to Lusaka. Lusaka is very full, and if anything, more teachers would have been transferred from Lusaka into the rural areas. But for now, colleagues, wherever you are, as teachers, we urge you to put your documents together. And for that association called the Unemployed Teachers Association, tell your members, they will no longer be your members, they will join the unions now, and you may remain with the 15,000 of, don't lose hope, everyone will be employed in due course, because we need about 50,000 teachers. So we still have a deficit. For the private schools, improve your conditions of service, because all your teachers will now run to the government, because the government will accept them, because the government will have more ideas. So colleagues, we urge the new teachers who are joining the Ministry of General Education, we wish you the best. Ensure that you put your documents in place. And for the employer, please don't use the post office for these applications. Some of the teachers, some of our these colleagues on the street, they may not even afford a 20 kwacha. So make it open. They can walk to wherever they can apply to. And for those who will be charged with the responsibility of recruiting these teachers, we want them to be with clean hands. Those who have dirty hands previously, please, we're asking the employer to give them to Pavwe, so that the recruitment is as transparent and we are not going to have noise going forward. But we also appeal to the employer to continue engaging the labor movement. They should give us more rights, unlike it was, so that we give them even what is really on the ground to do with pupils. The establishment of a number of activities in the Ministry of Education will help. The curriculum, it will help. COVID-19 will help.
A word to my fellow unemployed teachers is that let's have hope in the new Dawn government. I know we have had a lot of disappointments before, but that shouldn't give us a reason to doubt the new Dawn government. Let's trust them. We also trust the process, and also be calm to wait for the advert when it comes out. Also prepare our documents, our papers, so that when the time comes to apply, we actually do the application. Otherwise, there's no need to panic, because like you have stated, the process has already been announced and the money has already been stated to be available. So all is needed is patience, I think, to wait for further pronouncements from the government.
I'm appealing to the ministers as they debate the 18 billion which has been given to education, to really see that it supports education. And I hope, I haven't calculated what percentage it is, but I hope it will tackle the issues of school establishment, because these are the issues where we want our schools to match with the number of teachers who are in that school and the number of schools. We understand 120 schools will be built, and therefore with the 18 billion given to education, one looks for that it will motivate the teachers. Those who need to be upgraded will be upgraded. Those schools which have not been gazetted will be gazetted. And now education will run smoothly, meaning that when you recruit a teacher, quickly goes into the right scale. When a teacher upgrades himself, when he comes back from university, suits into those teachers who are to be promoted within 6 months of substantive appointment, they get confirmed. I tell you, once that reaches there, you parents out there will be able to say, our children now are in an environment where they can learn and teachers are motivated. And also want to take advantage of saying that whenever a school is built, we hope and pray that government will also be building houses. We have a challenge where a school is built in a rural area, but there's no house. A teacher is getting house allowance, but where would they find a better house? So we hope and pray that these 120 schools, and even schools which are there already, the issue of infrastructure, building of school houses for teachers in existing schools and the schools which will be built should also take a priority, because this is only where teachers can stay in an area where there is accommodation. Where there's no accommodation, it becomes a challenge. We just hope and pray that this is what we are seeing, where there is abolition of school fees and everything, government grants will start flowing so much to schools so that there will be no gap. We had a situation where there were just reduction. In the previous government was reduction, and we saw a lot of problems. Now where there is completely removal and abolition, the only answer is to see government grants flow every month or every term as per requirement. Then I assure you, education will be back to what it is. With this, we are seeing education back, but the only way is the budget implementation. Once it's done, excellent.
Several attempts were made to the Teaching Service Commission to respond on some of the allegations laid in this documentary. Unfortunately, we could not get any feedback.
Education is the cornerstone of any developing economy. But what is education without a teacher? It is very important, very important, that the 29th of October 2021 pronouncement by the Finance Minister be actualized, as the mandate therein lies with their areas of authority. After all, education is an equalizer. Remember to give us your feedback by emailing us at documentaries@diamondtvzambia.com. From me, Francesca Piribanda, and the production team, thank you for watching. Goodbye.